The same story that has been told for nearly 3,000 years still has the power to teach you English today, and most people don't even know why it works so well. Stick around, because by the end of this episode, you will be using vocabulary that most native speakers can't even explain. Hey Emma, quick question before we start. Do you remember the first story you ever read in another language?
Oh, that is a great question. I actually remember it really clearly. It was a children's book in Spanish, very simple, like El gato come el pescado. The cat eats the fish. And I just felt so proud, like I actually understood something.
Right. That feeling is incredible. I had something similar when I started picking up French. I remember reading a sign at a bakery and I understood it completely. It said something like du pain frais, which means fresh bread. And I was just standing there in the middle of the sidewalk with this huge smile on my face.
You looked crazy, I bet.
Absolutely crazy, but it worked. That little moment made me want to keep going, and that is exactly what today's episode is all about. We are using a story, one of the most famous stories ever told, to help our listeners build real, natural English. And the story is Homer's Odyssey.
Yes, and if you are listening to us right now and you are learning English, this is going to be really fun. We are not going to talk about this story like a boring textbook. We are going to tell it the way we would tell it to a friend. Easy words, natural conversation, and lots of great vocabulary along the way.
Exactly. So, Emma, let's just jump in. Do you want to start? What is the Odyssey for someone who has never heard of it?
Okay, so the Odyssey is basically a really, really long journey story. It was written, or some people say composed, by a poet named Homer. And we are talking about ancient Greece here. This story is about 2,800 years old.
Which is wild to think about.
It is wild. And the main character, the hero of the story, is a man named Odysseus. Now, in English, you will also hear people call him Ulysses. Same person, just a different version of the name. The Latin version is Ulysses.
Good point. And Odysseus is a king. He is a warrior. He just finished fighting in a very famous war called the Trojan War, and now all he wants to do is go home. He wants to get back to his island, which is called Ithaca, and see his wife Penelope and his son Telemachus.
Simple enough plan, right? Just go home.
You would think. But here's the thing. The journey that should have taken maybe a few weeks ends up taking him 10 years.
10 years to get home. And that is the story. All of the crazy things that happened to him along the way, every obstacle, every monster, every temptation, it's all part of the journey.
And the word Odyssey itself, that is now a word we use in everyday English. If someone has a long, difficult journey full of challenges, we call it an Odyssey. Like, getting my driver's license was a real Odyssey. You've heard people say that, right?
All the time. That is a great vocabulary note. The word Odyssey, with a lowercase o, just means a long and adventurous journey. Very useful word.
So let's talk about the story itself. Let's go through the main parts and pick out some really useful English words and phrases as we go. Sound good?
Let's do it. So Odysseus starts after the Trojan War is over. Odysseus is trying to sail home, and the very first big problem is that a god is angry at him, a sea god named Poseidon, and Poseidon is making the journey incredibly difficult.
And here is a great English phrase, to have someone against you. Like, Odysseus has a powerful god against him. That means someone is working to make your life harder. You can use that in everyday life. I feel like everyone is against me today. Or, the weather was against us the whole trip.
Exactly. So Odysseus and his crew, those are the soldiers and sailors who travel with him, they encounter, and that is a great word too, to encounter, meaning to meet or come across unexpectedly. They encounter all kinds of trouble.
Let's talk about one of the most famous stops on his journey, the Cyclops. His name is Polyphemus. And this scene is great because there is so much action and so much great vocabulary.
Yes, so a Cyclops is a giant creature, one single eye in the middle of its forehead. And Odysseus and some of his men get trapped inside the Cyclops' cave. The giant rolls a huge boulder in front of the door. They are trapped.
And the Cyclops starts eating the men, which is terrible, very frightening. The word here is terrifying. Something that is terrifying fills you with terror, with extreme fear. The situation was terrifying, very natural English.
So Odysseus, being a very clever man, and clever is a key word here. It means smart in a quick, practical way, the kind of smart that helps you get out of trouble fast. Odysseus is clever. He comes up with a plan.
And the plan is brilliant. He tells the Cyclops that his name is Nobody. Just the word nobody.
Which sounds crazy, right? Why would you say your name is Nobody?
Because later, when he hurts the Cyclops and the Cyclops screams for help, the other giants come running and they shout, "Who is hurting you?" And the Cyclops screams, "Nobody is hurting me." So the other giants think nothing is wrong and they go away.
Oh, that is so clever. It's a trick with language. Odysseus is basically using words as a weapon.
And in English, we have a phrase for that kind of quick thinking on your feet. It means making smart decisions very quickly, without having time to prepare. She's great at thinking on her feet. That is a very natural, common English idiom.
So Odysseus and his men escape the cave. But now Poseidon, the sea god, is even angrier because the Cyclops is actually Poseidon's son. So now Odysseus has really made a powerful enemy.
And there is a phrase, to make an enemy of someone. It means to do something that causes a person, or in this case a god, to hate you and work against you. Try not to make an enemy of your boss. Very useful.
The journey continues, and the next famous stop I want to talk about is the island of a woman named Circe. She's a sorceress. That means she has magical powers.
And Circe turns Odysseus's men into pigs, like literally into pigs.
Which, okay, that is extreme. But in English, we do use the word pig to describe someone who is messy or greedy or rude. Don't be such a pig. So even that little detail connects to modern English.
But Odysseus gets a magical herb that protects her from her spell. And instead of attacking her, he negotiates. He talks to her, and eventually she turns his men back into humans. And the word negotiate is a great one. It means to have a conversation where both sides are trying to reach an agreement. We negotiated the terms of the deal. Very professional, very common in business English.
Odysseus actually ends up staying on Circe's island for a full year. And this brings up a theme that runs through the whole story, which is temptation. The word temptation means when something is very attractive and makes you want to do something, even if it might not be good for you.
Right. The Odyssey is full of temptations, and each time Odysseus has to choose. Do I stay here where it is comfortable, or do I keep going home? And he always chooses to keep going. He is focused on his goal.
And goal is such a simple word, but really important. A goal is something you are working toward. My goal is to speak English fluently. If you're listening to this podcast, that is probably your goal.
Exactly. All right, the next big challenge is one of the most famous in all of literature, the Sirens. Do you want to talk about that one?
Yes, absolutely. So the Sirens are creatures, and in most versions of the story, they are half woman, half bird. They sit on rocks in the ocean and they sing. And their singing is so beautiful, so irresistible, that any sailor who hears it steers his ship toward them, and then the ship crashes on the rocks.
And irresistible is a perfect word here. If something is irresistible, it means you simply cannot resist it. You cannot say no. That chocolate cake is irresistible. Or her argument was irresistible. Very expressive word.
So how does Odysseus handle the Sirens? He tells his crew to put wax in their ears so they cannot hear the singing. But he wants to hear it himself because he's curious. So he has his men tie him to the mast of the ship.
And mast is the tall pole that holds the sail on a sailing ship. But the verb form is what I love here, to be tied to something. In modern English, we use this phrase figuratively all the time. I am tied to my desk all day, or she is tied to her responsibilities. It means you cannot move or leave, usually because of obligations.
Great point. So Odysseus hears the sirens singing, and it is so beautiful that he desperately wants to go to them. He's begging his crew to untie him, but they cannot hear him because of the wax in their ears. And so the ship passes safely.
And siren is another word that has entered everyday English. We talk about something being a siren call when we mean a very tempting but potentially dangerous attraction. You'll hear this in newspapers and books all the time.
The Odyssey is just full of words and ideas like that, things that started in this ancient story and now live on in the English language. It is fascinating.
It really is. Let's talk about what is happening back home while Odysseus is on his journey, because this is an important part of the story.
Right. So at home in Ithaca, Odysseus's wife Penelope is waiting for him. And over the years, everyone starts to assume he is dead. So hundreds of men start showing up at the palace, all trying to marry Penelope and take the throne.
And they are called suitors. A suitor is a man who's trying to win a woman's love or hand in marriage. Suitor is a slightly old-fashioned word, but you will still see it in writing and in formal speech.
And these suitors are completely out of control. They are eating all of Odysseus's food, drinking all his wine, just living in his house and refusing to leave. And Penelope is doing everything she can to delay them.
And delay is a great everyday word. To delay something means to push it back, to make it happen later. The flight was delayed by 2 hours. Please do not delay your decision. Very common.
And Penelope's most famous delay tactic, and tactic means a plan or method to achieve something, her famous tactic is weaving. She tells the suitors she will choose a new husband after she finishes weaving a large cloth. But every night, she secretly unravels what she wove during the day, so the cloth is never finished.
And to unravel is a great verb. Literally, it means to undo thread or weaving, but we use it figuratively too. The whole plan unraveled. His argument started to unravel when he couldn't answer the questions. It means something falls apart, loses its structure.
Penelope is actually one of my favorite characters. She's patient, she's intelligent, and she's loyal. And those 3 words are really worth noting. Patient means able to wait calmly. Intelligent means having a sharp mind. Loyal means staying committed to someone even when things are hard.
Great character qualities and great vocabulary. Okay, so eventually Odysseus does make it home after 10 years. And when he arrives, he is disguised as a beggar.
And disguised means changed in appearance so that people do not recognize you. She was disguised as a cleaning woman to get into the building. Very useful word.
So Odysseus sneaks into his own palace dressed as a beggar. He sees what the suitors are doing, and he tests people. He wants to know who has been loyal to him and who has not.
And one of the most touching moments in the whole story is when his old dog recognizes him. The dog's name is Argos. Argos has been waiting for his master for 20 years. He's old and weak, but when Odysseus walks in, Argos raises his head, wags his tail, and then dies peacefully.
And that moment has made people cry for thousands of years. It is a very emotional scene. Touching is the right word, which we already used. Something that is touching makes you feel deep emotion, usually sadness and warmth mixed together.
There's also a touching scene with his son, Telemachus. Telemachus has grown up without a father. He's been searching for news of Odysseus, trying to find out if he's alive. And when they finally meet, the reunion is very emotional.
A reunion is when people who have been separated come back together. Our family reunion is every summer. The reunion of the 2 old friends was wonderful. Common word, especially around holidays and family events.
So Odysseus reveals himself to Telemachus first, and they make a plan together to deal with the suitors. And the big moment comes during a contest. Penelope announces that she will marry whichever suitor can string Odysseus's great bow and shoot an arrow through 12 axe handles in a row.
And none of the suitors can even string the bow. It is so heavy and powerful that they all fail.
And then the beggar, Odysseus in disguise, asks if he can try, and everyone laughs at him.
And he picks up the bow and strings it easily. And then he fires the arrow straight through all 12 axe handles.
And then he reveals who he is. And everything changes in that moment. He takes control of his house again, he punishes the suitors, and eventually he is reunited with Penelope.
And the word reveal is so important in storytelling and in everyday English. To reveal something means to show what was previously hidden. The investigation revealed some important facts. She revealed her true feelings. Very versatile word.
And the end of the story is a reunion, as we said. But it is not just physical, right? It is about identity. Odysseus has been pretending to be someone else, and now he gets to be himself again in his own home with his own family.
And the theme of identity is huge in this story. Odysseus is always asking and being asked, "Who are you? Give me your name." That question is everywhere in the Odyssey. And the story shows us that your name, your identity, is something worth protecting and worth fighting for.
I think that is one of the reasons the story has survived for nearly 3,000 years, because everyone understands what it feels like to want to go home, to want to belong somewhere, to want to be recognized for who you really are.
Beautifully put. And for our listeners who are learning English, here is the takeaway. Stories are one of the best ways to learn a language. When you follow a character, when you care about what happens to them, your brain absorbs vocabulary and sentence patterns naturally. You are not memorizing a list. You are living the language.
Exactly. And the Odyssey, even in translation in modern English, is not that hard to read or listen to. There are wonderful modern retellings. If you search for The Odyssey Retold in Modern English, you will find some great options.
Also, if you heard a word in today's episode that you want to remember, write it down or just listen again. Repetition is one of the most effective tools for language learning.
And before we wrap up, Alex, can we do a quick vocabulary recap? Just the highlights from today.
Absolutely. Let's run through them.
Odyssey, a long and difficult journey.
Encounter, to meet or come across unexpectedly.
Terrifying, causing extreme fear.
Clever, smart in a quick and practical way.
Thinking on your feet, making smart decisions quickly without preparation.
Negotiate, to talk toward an agreement.
Temptation, something that attracts you even if it might be harmful.
Irresistible, impossible to say no to.
Delay, to push something back in time.
Tactic, a plan or method to achieve something.
Unravel, to fall apart or come undone.
Disguised, changed in appearance to avoid recognition.
Touching, emotionally moving, making you feel warmth or sadness.
Reunion, coming back together after being apart.
Reveal, to show what was previously hidden.
And loyal, patient, and intelligent, 3 qualities Penelope showed throughout the story.
Great list. And honestly, if you can use even 5 of those words in a sentence today, you are doing great.
That is the goal. Small steps every day. That is how you get fluent.
Speaking of small steps, I want to ask our listeners, which part of the Odyssey did you find most interesting today? Was it the Cyclops, the Sirens, the reunion at the end?
If you have a favorite moment, think about it. Try to describe it in English to yourself or to a friend. Use some of the vocabulary from today if you can. That kind of active practice is incredibly powerful.
And if you want more episodes like this, we are doing a whole series of Learn English with a Story. Next time, we are going to explore another classic, ancient stories, real English, natural conversation. That is what we do here.
We really appreciate you spending time with us today. Learning a language takes patience, it takes consistency, and it takes curiosity. And you have all 3 just by being here.
You really do. Keep listening, keep practicing, and keep going. You are on your own Odyssey right now.
And what a great way to end the episode, on an Odyssey. See what she did there?
I am very pleased with myself.
As you should be. Bye, everyone. Until next time.
Bye.